Hello movie barfs and welcome back to the channel. So what do you do when a gibberish-talking masked strongman takes over your city, cordons it off from the rest of the world, and tells you it's about to be decimated in a few months' time? Well, honestly, there isn't much that can be done at that point, but you'd certainly wish that some of the characters didn't make the mistakes they made to allow this tyrant to rise to power. Bane was the final villain to cap off the Dark Knight trilogy, and while he accomplished more than the Joker ever did, he was nowhere near as iconic or memorable. At the start of the movie, we see the CIA preparing to transport several masked prisoners onto their plane. Bane happens to be one of them, with his plan being to capture one of the other prisoners, Dr. Pavel, the one and only scientist who can arm or disarm a nuclear bomb. Bane reveals himself, and with the help of his goons from another plane, they hijack the plane, capture Dr. Pavel, and kill all the CIA crew. Right from the start, we see a tremendously wasted opportunity to stop Bane. If the CIA had just bothered to check their prisoners before boarding them, none of this would have happened. Bane would have been revealed earlier, while they could have had their guns on him, since it's dangerous to fire one in a plane, and he would have been stopped then and there. Anyway, part of Bane's plan is to trick the world into thinking that Dr. Pavel is dead, by pumping some of his blood into another corpse before leaving that body to crash with the plane. Well, I'm no medical expert, but even I know that it doesn't work that way. Getting a blood transfusion does not change one's DNA to the point where you would mistake them to be someone else. If the forensics team who handled the crash site had done their job properly, then the world would know that Dr. Pavel was not confirmed dead. Perhaps then Bruce Wayne would not have been persuaded to show Miranda his energy project, which later turns into Bane's bomb. Back in Gotham City, things are looking good on the surface. Crime rates are at an all-time low, and soon the police can start chasing overdue library books. But underneath the surface, trouble is brewing. People have been going missing, and they turn up dead at the sewer outlets of the city. As it turns out, Bane has been building an underground army in the network of sewers below. Now, I don't know about that, but Gotham must have pretty bad sanitation services if an entire army can thrive underground on their watch. If they had done any form of regular checks down below, they would have certainly chanced upon some of them. And besides, there were dead bodies appearing from time to time at the sewer outlets. It's a huge stretch to think that the police wouldn't launch a thorough investigation into it, especially after Commissioner Gordon himself sees it with his own eyes. It's not like they have a shortage of resources with the all-time low crime rates. Anyway, when Gordon is taken underground by Bane's thugs, for some reason Bane is pissed with his thugs and he kills one, and threatens to kill the other. What makes it silly is Bane's threat here. He tells the guy, "Search him and then I will kill you." And what makes it over the top ridiculous is that the guy actually just does it. He doesn't run or try to defend himself, but absurdly just hands Bane the very gun that he would use to shoot him. Since he was already guaranteed death by Bane, he could have just shot Bane instead there and then and saved himself. That would have been a perfect time, as Bane was unarmored, he was uncovered from the top with his belly sticking out. Later on in the film, Bane's plan was to acquire ownership of Wayne Enterprises so as to have access to Batman's armory and the energy reactor. Part of that convoluted plan was to use Bruce Wayne's fingertips to authorize some unprofitable trades in the stock exchange, causing him to lose his majority share in the company. Well, those trades shouldn't have been taken as valid in the first place, since they were done during the event of Bane's heist on the stock exchange. Bruce still should have his company and wouldn't have had to reveal the location of the reactor. And back to the stock exchange. Bane and his men somehow have motorcycles inside the stock exchange, and they bust out of there with hostages. Batman comes along to try to stop them, but since he's still seen as Harvey Dent's killer, the entire police force is activated to try to capture him instead. But what's just silly is that they let Bane get away and they drop their pursuit of him completely. Couldn't they just allocate a small portion of their manpower to continue chasing the robbers? Instead, they went the overkill route and put every ounce of their attention on Batman. So anyway, the trades using Bruce's fingerprints result in him losing his company. Later on, Batman decides to confront Bane, but he's led into a trap in the sewers. This is a pretty intense fight scene, but what I don't get is how Bane's mask stays on throughout. Now, for those of you who've seen the movie, you'd know that Bane's mask is what keeps his pain at bay, and without it, he'll be in pain. Batman repeatedly hits Bane's mask again and again, and yet it still stays on. I mean, just look at these shots. He even gives it a direct headbutt at one point. It should definitely have come off during this fight, and Batman would have been the clear victor. And I wouldn't keep hitting his armored torso. That seems like a waste of hits that are better directed at his mask instead. And later on, when the police finally decide it's time to do something about Bane's underground army, it's absolutely ridiculous that every cop is dispatched into the sewers to find them. Another all-or-nothing approach which resulted in 100% of the city's police force being trapped underground. Well, that's it folks, those are some ways that Bane's plan could have been foiled, preventing him from taking control over Gotham. Not to say he couldn't be stopped after that, because surely the armed forces would have intervened at some point rather than letting the city decay over a few months. But what do you think? Were there any other points where Bane could have been stopped? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos like these, and I'll see you next time.